Rahul bhai, first of all the best to the team and you for the final. And how
Thank
much is the
you.
excitement? Last time we missed out by a whisker. This time we are in the finals again, same country. How is the excitement in the team for the final?
Yeah, obviously, really looking forward to it. It's been 2 years of hard work to get here. Quite a few ups and downs along the way. Um, it's something that you start the cycle aspiring to be in the top two teams so that you can get an opportunity to play this game. So yes, I mean, looking forward to it and hoping for a good game of cricket.
Hi Rahul. Just the World Test Championship as a tournament, as a competition. With a lot of teams outside India, England, and Australia not playing a lot of Test cricket in the next cycle. I mean, where do you see it going forward? Like we see now New Zealand and South Africa and West Indies. The number of Test they play are just dropping annually. So just overall, will it stand the test of time? Just how do you see it going forward?
Yeah, so I mean, I really hope that because of things like the World Test Championship, and you have some context um, to a lot of these, to a lot of the bilateral games. Not that, honestly, not that they don't have context in itself. I mean, anytime you play for your country, play against someone else, there's always context. There's always you always want to win those series. But really hope that it will encourage a lot more teams to be able to potentially play a lot more Test cricket, or to be able to find a way to play a lot more Test cricket. I know it is complicated, and that it's hard to go into depth with in a press conference, and there are a variety of reasons why that is probably not happening, both in terms of time, finances. There are many things that go into it. But certainly, we'd like to see a lot more personally, at least, I'd like to see a lot more Test cricket being played. We do play a lot of it. Like you said, England and Australia are probably the other two countries that play a lot of it. But the point system actually allows everyone an opportunity to be able to play these. It's not hugely skewed in terms of favor of any of the countries, because even if you play less, you still have an opportunity to make it to a final, like New Zealand showed last year, and to win the championship. In fact, it probably playing less gives you an opportunity to protect your resources a lot better than some of the bigger teams have. You know, when you're only playing a two Test match series, you can get your bowling attack ready for those two Test matches. Whereas if you're playing five Test match series, like some of us do, it really challenges your depth and resources a lot more. So it cuts both ways. But certainly, it is a fantastic form of the game, and I would really love that a lot more of it is played and with context.
Rahul sir, I mean, traditionally, if we see Oval, has always been, comfort zone for subcontinental teams. Maybe they tend to play a bit of slow bowling options on this kind of pitches. But all those matches I'm referring to happen end of the season. But this is quite rare that Test cricket is happening in early June here in at the Oval. So how do you assess these conditions? From your point of view, from the point of view of the Indian team, bowling attack.
Yeah, so like you rightly said, I mean, at least from the time I have probably been playing or been following cricket, I'm not sure if there's actually been a Test match played in June. I'm not sure before that. I'm not sure historically if there's actually ever been cricket played in June. But yeah, a lot of the data and a lot of the stats that we looked at over the last bit is obviously, like you said, skewed towards the end of the summer in the UK. Wickets are slightly different. They're slightly more tired, having played here in the past. So yeah, it might be different conditions, but we just have to react to that. I mean, it's not something that we'll just have to react when what we see on in terms of the conditions and how it plays out in the middle. So and hopefully we have the resources and the ability to deal with whatever comes in front of us.
Hi, Rahul. Uh, I just wanted to ask you about
Right.
Pujara. And basically, he would probably be your best acclimatized batter since he's been in the county. So, have you all got inputs about the conditions from him, and how difficult do you see being a one format player is?
Yeah, I mean, certainly have we've had conversations with Puji. about obviously batting, but also he leads Sussex, so he's also got a good handle on in terms of the kind of tactics and the strategy that's used by a lot of the county bowlers that he's played with. So we've had some conversations and discussions obviously with him in and around that, and we'll see how we can maybe incorporate some of that. Doesn't drastically change some of the basics of the game. They always remain the same. You still got to hit the top of off stump, irrespective of whatever you might come up with a lot of gimmicks, but sometimes the simple things always stay simple. For us, the key is try and execute those simple things really well over the course of 5 days. If we do that, then I think we'll have a good test match. In terms of being a one format player, it's not easy. Having experienced that probably towards the last fag end of my career as well. It's not easy because sometimes the matches that you play are few and far between. But the good thing with Puji is that he continues to find a way to play cricket. I think one of the things that's really stood out for me is he finds a way to play Ranji Trophy cricket whenever he can, even during our season. He's taken the challenge of coming and playing county cricket here. He's taken on a leadership role at Sussex as well. So, he recognizes that fact that he's got to try and keep playing cricket, because otherwise the gaps might be quite a lot in between. And I think he's probably someone who's played a lot of cricket, irrespective of not having played the IPL.
Hello. When India won the '83 World Cup, it sort of transformed the status of ODI cricket. When India won the T20 World Cup in South Africa, transformed the status of T20 cricket. What do you think an India win would do for Test cricket, both in India and the rest of the world, in this match, in terms of enhancing the status of the 5-day game?
I don't think you can compare the two. That was a long time ago, and they were new formats of the game. Test cricket's been around a really long time. And I'm not sure one match is going to transform things or change things drastically, irrespective of whichever way it goes. Test cricket faces unique challenges, and that's not going to necessarily. It's a fantastic game which faces some challenges, which is not necessarily going to change the result of one game.
Thank you.
I guess just following on from Bharat's question, when it comes to the World Test Championship final, how much of that is a focus during the 2-year cycle when you're going and playing in Australia for a series, or at home against them, or against England, some of those big sort of, marquee series? Is it something that you look at as a goal and talk about sort of all the way through?
It's so just my own experience over the last couple of years, and I've been part of this cycle. It's probably somewhere at the back of your mind when you start the cycle. It starts becoming front and center when you get to the pointy end, So when you get to the last few games of a series, and then you can see the conversations around, okay, what do we need to be able to qualify? Where are the other teams? So probably in the first couple of series, that you need to win those, you need to get there. But I think it still seems like it's a little bit far away, and you still need to react to what's in front of you and not so much worry about what's happening elsewhere. But I think when it gets to the back end of the last couple of series, you certainly start looking around and looking at the point system and start seeing what you need to do to definitely qualify, or at least give yourself a chance to qualify.
Hi Rahul. I just wanted to ask a little bit about Ajinkya Rahane's return to the squad. One, just your thoughts on what he brings to the Test lineup again, and two, also, as a player, I guess it's a little bit of a tricky situation for him to come back in. It's a one-off test. It's not a series. It's a pretty high-profile game. Just how something like that might weigh on him on his return.
Yeah, so I think it's good to have him. We've had a few injuries, which have probably led to him having the opportunity to come back into the squad. Great for us to have someone of his quality back. He brings a lot of that experience. He brings proven performance in overseas conditions, even in England. He's played some terrific innings for us. He brings terrific catching in the slips as well to the group. He just brings his personality to the group as well, which is really important. He's led the team, to considerable success. So yeah, it's just great to have someone like him around here. And again, and I wouldn't want him to approach this as just a one-off. You know, sometimes you get dropped from teams and you make a comeback, and you come back and you can play for as long as you're playing well and as long as you're performing. There's no it's not written in stone or rule that you only get you only get one match. So he puts in a good performance, really shows what he's got. Who knows? Even when people come back from injury, you never know what can happen. So again, from my point of view, it's not really only about this match. Yes, this match is important, but then in the larger context of things, there's a lot of cricket to be played further down the road as well.
Hi Rahul, just on Australia and David Warner in particular, in 2019 here, Stuart Broad sort of was all over him around the wicket. Are you looking to tap into that at all and the tactics that they used to get over him in 2019?
I mean, I'm not sure that's the only, I think the many tactics that you use against players. He's a class player. It's not as simple as just turning up, bowling around the wicket and getting him out. He wouldn't have played 100 test matches if it was that simple. He's a very good player. You're going to still be able to execute from over and around the wicket. Of course, we just as they do, we will also have looked at videos and seen, what other teams have done, what are the lines they've bowled to him, what sort of lengths. Everyone does that sort of thing. The batsmen know exactly what you're looking at. So there's not very much that's there to hide anymore because of data and video analysis. Everyone knows what you're looking at. Everyone has honestly very similar information about each other. It's just how you deal with that, how you counter that, and every batsman will have areas that they are strong at and areas that they I wouldn't say a weakness, but areas that are not probably their strengths. And David is someone who's been very, very successful in managing that, and that's the reason why he's played 100 test matches, and we know that's a very important wicket to get early on.
Rahul, is there any extra tension since India couldn't win any ICC tournament since 2013? Is there any discussion about that, or do you feel any extra pressure also?
No, not at all. I mean, we don't feel any pressure in terms of, trying to win an ICC trophy. Of course, it would be nice to do it. It would be certainly nice to be able to win an ICC tournament. But also in the context of things, you look at this and you see this is the culmination of 2 years of work. It's a culmination of a lot of success that gets you here. So there's a lot of positives to take from that, to see where you stand on the table. Winning series in Australia, drawing series here, being very competitive everywhere that this team has played in the world over the last 5 or 6 years. I think those are things that will never change just because you have or you don't have an ICC trophy. That's really the bigger picture. But of course, it's nice to be able to lift any game of cricket. You want to win it. This happens to be like a World Test Championship final, and it would be nice to get on the right side of the result.
Rahul, इंग्लैंड में खेलने की बात होती है तो स्विंग की बात होती है. विकेट तक का जो स्विंग होता है बैट्समैन को तकलीफ देता है, उसके पीछे भी स्विंग होता है, वो विकेट कीपर और स्लिप वालों को तकलीफ देता है. आपने दोनों को पेला है, तो ये टीम की प्रिपरेशन में ये दोनों के ऊपर आपने क्या काम किया है?
एक चीज़ मैं ज़रूर कहूँगा कि जो हमारी टीम है, इस बार सारे लड़के काफ़ी खेल चुके हैं यहाँ पे. हमारी जो बैटिंग लाइनअप है इसमें काफ़ी एक्सपीरियंस है. तो लोगों को काफ़ी आइडिया है यहाँ पे कि कंडीशंस क्या होती हैं, अलग अलग कंडीशंस में खेले हैं यहाँ पे. तो ज़रूर हमारी थोड़ी डिस्कशन होती है. हम लोग प्रैक्टिस में भी करते हैं. हम लोग थोड़ा मे बी एनालाइज करते हैं कि क्या लेंस डाले जा सकते हैं इन कंडीशंस में. शायद वो थोड़े अलग हो या लाइंस अलग हो सकते हैं इंडिया को मद्देनज़र रखते हुए. तो थोड़ी उसके ऊपर ज़रूर प्रैक्टिस होती है. हमारे बॉलर्स भी वो लेंथ या लाइन डालना चाहते हैं नेट्स में, तो एक अच्छी प्रैक्टिस हो जाती है उसके बारे में. पर ज़्यादा कुछ मतलब अलग करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती इसमें, क्योंकि जो हमारे प्लेयर्स हैं उन्होंने सब यहाँ पे रन कर चुके हैं. उनको पता है रन कैसे बनाना है. यही है कि अगले 5 दिन में जब मौका मिलेगा, और ऐसा नहीं होगा कि सब लोग सक्सेस होंगे. अगर जो 3, 4, 5 जो 6 लड़के सक्सेस या रन बनाएंगे या सेट हो जाएंगे, अगर वो थोड़े लंबी पारी खेल सकें या बड़ा पारी खेल सकें तो वो काफ़ी फ़ायदेमंद होगा टीम के लिए।
नहीं, विकेट कीपर स्लिप कैचिंग का भी
हाँ ज़रूर, वो एक ये एक फैक्टर होता है कीपिंग के लिए। तो ज़रूर हमारे फील्डिंग कोच उसके बारे में प्रैक्टिस हम करते हैं। कुछ अलग अलग तरीके के बॉल भी इस्तेमाल होते हैं प्रैक्टिस में, जो थोड़ा स्वर्व होते हैं, स्विंग होते हैं, जैसे आप लोगों ने देखा होगा पहले भी। तो थोड़ी स्पेसिफिक जो प्रैक्टिस होती है वो ज़रूर की जाती है, उसके बारे में डिस्कशंस की जाते हैं। और थोड़े शायद जो थोड़े टेक्निकल या टैक्टिकल चेंजेस की ज़रूरत होती है वो ज़रूर हम प्लेयरों के साथ डिस्कशन करते हैं, क्योंकि मेरा ये मानना है कि प्लेयर की एक मेथड होती है, एक स्टाइल ऑफ जैसी प्ले होती है, वो हम ज़्यादा अदल बदल नहीं करते उसमें, उसको रिफाइन करने में उनकी कोशिश ज़रूर करते हैं।
राहुल भाई, ये बिल्डअप जो हो रहा है इस फाइनल को लेकर, ज़्यादातर एक्सपर्ट्स, कल भी सुन रहे थे, आईसीसी का प्रोग्राम था, वो बोल रहे हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया स्लाइट एडवांटेज, और तो इंडिया के लिए बहुत कम ऐसा मौका होता है कि वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल में, मतलब टेस्ट टीम का फाइनल खेल रही है। इंडिया के लेकर हाइप नहीं है। आप 2022 वर्ल्ड कप जो था, T20 वर्ल्ड कप या ODI वर्ल्ड कप में जो हाइप रहती है यहाँ पर नहीं है। ये कितना एडवांटेज है कि फेवरेट भी नहीं कहा जा रहा है, हाइप भी नहीं है?
देखिए, जो भी होगा वो 5 दिन में होगा। पहले जो हो रहा है बाद में होगा, उसमें कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता है। कौन किसका कौन फेवरेट है, कौन फेवरेट नहीं है। जब दो अच्छी टीमें खेलती हैं, जो जिन दोनों टीमों के साथ अच्छे प्लेयर हैं, जो टीम वो 5 दिन में अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस करेगी वो जीतेगी। मुझे पूरा उम्मीद है कि अगर हम अच्छा क्रिकेट खेलेंगे और जो हमारे पास एबिलिटी है, हमारे पास प्लेयर्स है कि हम 20 विकेट ले सकते हैं, हम रन बना सकते हैं, तो मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि हम ये जीत सकते हैं। तो हाइप नहीं होना में भी शायद अच्छी बात है।